going? In today's video, I will be teaching you how to survive and deal with every single entity that is indoors as of right now. Also, I'm a little sick today, so apologies for sounding stuffy. Before we start, I would like to say 3 things. First, if you have not played Doors at all, I would highly recommend playing the game until you beat at least room 50, so you get introduced to a good amount of the entities that are in Doors right now. Second, I'm not going to talk about the few entities that don't pose a threat at all, and I mean at all, even indirectly. So we're skipping over the Shadow and the Window Smiler entities. And third, I'm gonna save the figure for his own separate video, so make sure y'all subscribe so you don't miss that. Also, spoilers ahead. Now you can't say I didn't warn you. But with those out of the way, let's begin. Starting off, we're going to talk about the least threatening entity in this entire game, Jack. Jack is a special entity inside of Doors and is relatively harmless. He can be encountered uncommonly when trying to get into a closet, with a 1 out of 20 chance of encountering him inside of a closet, but he also has a very rare chance of spawning inside of a room randomly. This is a rare chance that has about a 1 in 2,000 chance of it happening, so consider yourself lucky if you witness this event. Jack doesn't really do much outside of scaring the player for harmless shenanigans, but he can be a problem if you're trying to enter a closet when either rush or ambush are present, since when a player tries entering a closet with Jack in it, he jump scares the player and prevents them from entering the closet for a short period of time. But even then, this is a rare event that's only happened to me about once, maybe twice, so the chances of this happening are very slim. Now, you used to be able to see Jack from the outside of the closet that he's in by looking at the crack between the closet doors right before you get inside of the closet, but this was recently patched, so now you have absolutely no way of being able to tell if Jack is in a closet or not without trying to go into the closet. And what makes it worse is that Jack can spawn in a closet at any moment, even if it's a closet that you just left, and also in room 50 with the figure. This guy's a friggin' internet troll, I swear. So, if you're entering a closet, you just gotta pray that you don't get unlucky and have Jack spawn right as you're about to hastily go into a closet to avoid rush or ambush. The only redeeming factor about Jack is that he literally does no damage. Although, now that I think about it, Jack seems to be a nice guy, you know? He just scares everyone since he has nothing else to do. Maybe you should be his friend. He could be lonely. Nah, he's a loser. Let's move on. Next, we have the funny 8-legged prince himself, Timothy! Yeah! Timothy. Timothy's a spider that dwells in drawers. That's kinda it. Okay, not really. When the player opens the shelf that they're trying to loot for gold or for items or whatever, there is a chance that Timothy will be inside of that shelf. When a player opens up a shelf that Timothy is in, Timothy will jump out at the camera and jump scare the player, dealing 5 damage to the player that opened said shelf, as I already said. Yes, Jack is less of a threat than frickin' Timothy. Fight me on this. And you may be asking yourself, is it possible for one to die by Timothy? And the answer is not anymore. You used to be able to, from what I hear, but now you can't. What? That's it! He's a spider that basically tickles you whenever you're looting. Yeah, you take damage from his attack and you fill your pits every time he appears, so there's not much more one can say. So we're gonna move on from the funny crawly meme mans to something else. I don't know what more you want from me, I'm sorry. Gather around, young children. Sorry. Anyways, next up is the entity known as Hyde. Hyde is an entity indoors that can only be encountered by staying in a locker for a certain period of time. When you stay inside of a locker for too long, your screen starts shaking and blood starts to slowly ooze into your view. I'm gonna be honest, Hyde is not a threat at all. Even if you have some subpar timing with getting into a locker, when hiding from either rush or ambush, Hyde isn't going to hurt you. He isn't gonna push you out of the locker, and he isn't going to kill you on low health. Seriously, you can basically prevent Hyde from doing anything to you by just timing when you go into the locker correctly. Glitch. Oh boy. What is there to say about Glitch? I do know of one thing that I can say about Glitch. Sorry. Glitch is an entity that players can encounter indoors that is used to do 2 things: to keep players together with the rest of the group, and to keep the flow of the game going. Glitch is an interesting entity since you can play many games and just never encounter him. He is an enigma. Okay, not really. He is, however, dangerous. Kind of. When Glitch is activated, he is unavoidable, meaning that you're gonna get hit with his attack and take damage no matter what you do. The nice thing about Glitch, however, is that he only does a third of your health bar in total damage. So he won't body you immediately unless you're low on health. You can prevent him from spawning altogether by just sticking together with the rest of the other players and by not going backwards too far, which is probably what you're going to be doing anyways. Now that I say that though, the Glitch can cause you to die in a manner similar to Jack as well. If you're falling behind and you're hiding in a closet to avoid someone like Rush or Ambush from killing you when you're behind the group too far, he can pull you out of the closet and put you near the other players, once again putting you in danger. This actually happened to me a little while ago, back when I was streaming Doors for the first time ever. No. Also, if you want to join me when I'm playing Doors live, then make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on. Thank you. So if you don't want to be tickled by the Glitch, say no and stick near your buddies. Simple as that. Next, we have the Screech. Screech is an entity that does that. He's only encountered in dark rooms and he can mess you up if you're new or you're not paying attention. Screech is a wonderful entity that likes to hide out of your direct line of sight and hit you with its noodle arms. Be careful though. Screech's noodle arms hurt way more than someone named Josh's noodle arms, since Screech's attack does a whole third of your HP bar in one hit. And what makes it worse is that this whispering little piece of derpy doggy doo-doo spawns too often. Like, why do you spawn almost every dark room? Ah! Sorry. Legit though, you're gonna see the Screech a lot in this game, and even if you don't see him, you'll be aware of his presence in every dark corner, since sometimes he makes his summon sound just to troll you. Oh, also, sometimes you can see him before he makes his summon sound, and he can also attack you like a split second after making his summon sound, not giving you enough time to react, because that's a thing. Thanks, Else Flash. Anyways, the only way to not take damage from the Screech is to look straight at it. When you look straight at the Screech, it jump scares you, but it doesn't hurt you. Simple. Honestly, the Screech is just annoying, not that dangerous. Keep your head on a swivel and keep your hearing holes open, and you're just fine. See what I did there? Oh, speaking of seeing, let's talk about the most dangerous lesser entity, the Eyes. The Eyes is an entity in Doors that does damage to all players that lays their own eyes upon them. When a player looks at the Eyes entity, they take 10 points of damage every half-ish second. So the longer you look at the Eyes, the more damage you take. But that's the thing, he only hurts you when you're looking at him. So to counter the Eyes entity, just look away. Here's what you can do to make the Eyes into something that's not a threat at all. As soon as you see the Eyes spawn into a room, immediately look straight down. In doing this, you prevent all damage that could be dealt to you. You can also tell when the Eyes is spawning in a room due to like this purple indigo-ish light that emanates from a room from the general area where the Eyes entity is located in the room. So just look away from the pretty light and you'll be fine. But to be honest, bro, I get it. He's beautiful. He's also dangerous. Get your own dang eyes where they should be. You musty, crusty. Nah, I'm playing. Those were all of the entities that either do a little bit of damage to you or are just events. Now let's talk about the super dangerous entities, or at least the ones you have to address whenever they spawn. Halt. That's the name of the entity we're going to talk about. Why are you not moving? Terrible jokes aside, Halt is an entity indoors that is a game ender for new players, since he's a bit more complicated than the other entities. Occasionally, when a player enters a new room, they will be teleported into this long hallway where everything has a dark cyan hue to it. This means you're in Halt's domain, and you're in trouble. Here's how to own Mr. Spooky Glow. When you first teleport into Halt's room, start moving forward. Keep moving forward until the screen briefly flashes static images, then walk straight backwards. Keep walking straight backwards until the screen flashes again, then walk forwards once more. Repeat the backsy forwardsy game until you reach the door, and congrats! You survived one of the hardest entities in the entire game. Be careful though. When a player touches the entity, Halt does half of the player's HP in one hit. But don't be intimidated. Even though Halt hurts you badly when you tickle him, you can evade him really easily. On the topic of Halt, here are two quick notes. Even though Halt tells you to turn around in some of the static imagery, you don't need to fully turn 180 degrees to move backwards. You can just walk straight backwards and be safe that way. And second, once you make it out of Halt's room, you can go back in and loot all the drawers for gold and other loot. So take advantage of that. Now we're going to talk about the first entity that you've probably encountered the first time that you've played Doors, or the first entity that you're going to encounter when you play Doors if you haven't played it already, and that is Rush. Rush is an entity that players can encounter inside of doors and is one of the most dangerous entities in the entire game, since he insta-kills any players that he catches. Here's how Rush works. When a player opens up a new room, there is a high chance that the lights will flicker a few times, which means that one of two entities have spawned and are on their way to you right now, and if you don't react fast, they will body you. So how do you counter him? You can counter Rush by doing one of three things, but first we have to understand how Rush works in order to be able to use some of these countermeasures. Rush only moves in a straight line from the room you just left to the next room. Anyone directly in that path that Rush can see and touch is dead. So basically you can survive Rush by hiding either in a locker or under a bed if needed, by hiding behind something in certain rooms, or in very rare circumstances, inside a vent. The closet strat is the most well-known and consistent spot to hide in, but the vents are the safest spot to hide from Rush, since you don't have to worry about Jack or Hyde. So if Rush is approaching and you're in a vent room, be like the imposter and vent. He's super dangerous, especially if you're in a massive group of players, but he's among the easiest to survive. So that being said, let's move on. If you've been playing Doors for any period of time, you've probably heard that sound effect once or twice in some Doors videos. Yes, we are gonna talk about Mr. himself. His actual in-game name is Seek, for those of you guys that don't know. Seek is an entity inside of doors that players can encounter. When Seek is active, players will start to see eyes generate on the walls around them as they progress through rooms. It'll start out with there being only one or two eyes on the walls, then it'll end with there being a lot of them on the walls. Once you start seeing the eyes, get ready to run, since in a few rooms, Seek will spawn. Once Seek spawns, you'll be chased through a few rooms until you either die from Seek directly, you die from the flaming chandeliers on the last room, or if you escape through the last room's door. So basically, as of right now, Seek only attacks you by playing tag with you, which depending on which system you're playing on and how your controls are set up, can either make Seek very easy or very hard. But if you're capable with your device that you're playing on, just follow the cyan lights. They'll guide you to the correct door and which obstacles to duck under. Seek is super easy to evade, and if you're good, you can get away from him easy if your controls are also good. But if they aren't, then Seek is probably going to be a major hiccup for you. Now for the entity that you've probably been waiting for since the beginning of this video. If you've watched this from the beginning, then thank you. Make sure to not only like the video, but also subscribe for more videos like this. But anyways, now for Ambush. Ambush is an entity indoors that is very tricky to deal with, especially if you're a newer player. Ambush spawns and acts just like Rush, but with one very cheeky twist. Now, unlike Rush, Ambush not only charges in one direct path, but also rebounds and goes backwards. You'll do that a couple times, so if you're not paying attention or playing with audio, then you're going to get bodied by Ambush. Audio and visual cues are important for surviving Ambush, since you need both to hear and see him coming. Here's how to survive Ambush. When you hear Ambush's scream, stand by a closet and get inside of it when you hear him getting close. Stay in the closet until he goes back the way that he came, then leave the closet. But don't let your guard down just yet. He's coming back for seconds. Repeat this deadly game of peekaboo until he leaves for good, and then you can say that you survived Ambush. Here's an interesting fact for you. The reason why you jump in and out of a closet to survive Ambush isn't because Ambush can kill you while you're in a closet, but rather it's to prevent Hyde from hurting you and preventing you from hiding. Ambush, Rush, and Hyde are all best buddies, so by limiting your time in a closet, you can counter all three of them at the same time, if that ever becomes a thing indoors. Outside of using a closet, you can hide from him by using other hiding methods that work with Rush. Vent and behind closets are both viable methods from hiding from him, but just keep in mind that Ambush has a crazy large hitbox and can kill you from a ridiculously long distance away, so be careful. Savvy? Now that you guys know how to survive all the entities, make sure to go watch me troll players with the soundboard by clicking this video right here. But nonetheless, thanks for watching.